I'm Alexandre Capelli. I joined the group 15 years ago, always focusing on environment. Today, I'm the LVMH Environment Deputy Director, and with the LVMH Environment team, we are implementing our new LVMH Environmental Life 360 strategy based upon 4 main pillars: creative circularity, traceability and transparency, climate, and biodiversity. Within this strategy, I'm leading the environmental creativity and innovation topics linked to products and raw materials. As illustration, I like to mention the Maison Zero program dedicated to regenerative luxury that we conduct with Central St. Martin's in London. I'm also leading the biodiversity topics. What does it mean, biodiversity, for LVMH? It means both dependencies and impacts. Firstly, dependencies. LVMH had an intimate relationship with the richness and beauty of life, which give the products of our maison their exceptional character. I could mention cotton, grapes, flowers, wool, leather. All our maisons rely on biodiversity. Secondly, impacts. Our activities are generating some impacts on nature, as wastewater, deforestation, or the use of natural resources. The aim is to reduce these impacts. The protection of natural ecosystem is therefore an imperative for LVMH. We are taking actions on making the protections and regenerations of biodiversity a key pillar of our Life 360 environmental strategy. The LVMH Group has structured its biodiversity strategy around 3 main objectives. First, establishing a clear and precise measurement of biodiversity impact. Measurement is a potent tool to define priorities, objectives, and actions. It remains a complex issue where biodiversity is concerned. LVMH works on the deployment and improvement of measurement tools. LVMH also participates by way of its commitments and actions in the frame of reference defined by science-based targets for nature, whose aim is to align the actions of business with international objectives for the preservation of biodiversity. Second, avoiding and reducing impact on ecosystems. By 2026, LVMH will roll out certification system corresponding to the most rigorous standards of biodiversity-related criteria and apply them right across its strategic supply network, covering 100% of its supply. In addition, LVMH has set a target of zero deforestation by 2025 across its supply chain. Third, regenerating and preserving ecosystem. The objective is to regenerate or preserve the equivalent of 5 million hectares of habitat and flora by 2030, using 2 main levers. First, implementing regenerative agriculture within our supply chain, covering all strategic supplies as grapes, cotton, wool, leather, or palm oil. Second, supporting projects outside LVMH supply chain to regenerate or preserve endangered ecosystems. In 2022, we already have positive and concrete outcomes. With regard to raw material certifications, Maisons are achieving a great performance. As illustration, 71% of the cotton, 94% of grapes, and 91% of leather are already certified. About the 5 million hectares of ecosystem preserved or regenerated, we already achieved 1.37 million hectares by implementing different programs across the world. I can mention some of them at the UNESCO Man and Biosphere on LVMH program dedicated to the Amazon, where we are supporting local actions to fight deforestation. I can also mention a program launched around the Lake Chad in Africa with the Circular Bioeconomy Alliance, supported by King Charles, that aim at developing sustainable cotton production in a regenerative agroforestry system. Our future challenges with regard to biodiversity are deeply linked to our ability to achieve a full traceability of our supply chains. It will allow us to help both suppliers and farmers to transition to regenerative practices. The target is to cover all strategic raw materials by 2030. We need to accelerate and scale up already existing pilot projects. Another challenge that we will face in 23 and 24 is to define a science-based target of reduction of our impact on nature, as we already have for climate. A complex exercise for which LVMH aims to be a leading company. To conclude, you understand that environment and more specifically biodiversity topics are key challenges for the group. They are complex, but really interesting, as they involve many different dimensions. Whatever your role in the brand, you can be an active actor of change to help LVMH Maison to preserve natural resources. If you want to get more actively involved in the environmental topics, my advice would be to have at least a basic scientific background. So now, be the change.